over here in Chernobyl, not to be confused with Chernobyl. Life goes on far on the west, 3 hours away from the border. The border city of Siret, Romania. Tomorrow, the next day, we'll be heading back in. We'll head to Bucharest to close out an apartment, as well as to pick up some more supplies for the guys on the front line. Luckily, they don't need much. Mostly everybody's fairly well supplied. Fighting is hard, shelling daily. Here you wouldn't know that. Families, baby ducklings. Beautiful weather. It's quite pleasant. It's quite a change from Kharkiv. Over there had quite a depressive atmosphere. Due to the rockets coming in every day, you know, we call it the lottery, I guess, because you never know where it's going to hit, and it seems largely to be hitting. You never know, you know. Could be a restaurant where there's soldiers sleeping because they have block posts set up everywhere, and you know, certain groups are in charge of certain block posts and they sleep nearby. It could be an apartment building, it could be a restaurant, but as well as that, libraries are getting hit, cafes are getting hit, and residential apartment buildings quite a bit. I'm sure there's military targets being hit as well, but it's not something you're really going to hear. Why would you want to post on the internet how well or how bad anybody's doing? So I think mostly they post those civilian structures being hit, you know, and we've gone to visit them. We've gone to see with our own eyes, you know. We talked to one gentleman that came from like 100 days on the front. It was his first day off, and he got to go see his family who was living down in the subway after 100 days. Maybe I'll post a picture somewhere. He didn't have a problem with his face being hidden versus quite a few of the other guys, but there's different reasons for that. Different people are having different jobs. After 100 days on the front, he noticeably lost at least, I'm going to say 30 pounds from the last time I seen him. He was originally a guy that used to install doors, you know, security doors, things like this. And he was able to kind of level his life up to IT, get into management. And the first 3 days of the war, he re-enlisted because he was a conscript back in 2014, you know, for Donetsk. And one thing that you hear a lot is it's nothing like what it was before. Like, this is like all-out war, you know. And they're not really having a problem with the Russian soldiers, or I wouldn't say conscripts, I would say more mercenaries at this point. I'm sure they have a lot of conscripts, but they're going to be from south of Russia or the Far East, you know, very poor areas, you know, cannon fodder. Russia's good for that. Most of the real professional soldiers that I've met in Ukraine had good lives, good jobs, girlfriends, family. They're protecting their city, they're protecting their country. These guys coming from the south, coming from the east, whether or not they're forced conscripts or they're mercenaries coming for sign-up bonuses and for the promise of loot, because once again, the Far East guys, he's telling me it's like the first time they ever seen a flat screen TV, which is extremely sad. But you can go to the poorest village in Ukraine and you can find a flat screen TV. I would say that's more of the capitalist direction that Ukraine has taken versus ex-Soviet USSR direction that Putin has forced his country to go back into. I lived 2 years in Russia, and I had a visa for 6. St. Petersburg is beautiful, Moscow is beautiful, but the rest of the country is like dirt poor. When you do a little bit of research on YouTube, online, like corruption is rampant in Russia. Here we go, we got a little train convoy. Corruption is rampant in Russia. It is also rampant in Ukraine. We had the opportunity to speak to DVR while we were here, which is their version of like FBI. Their numbers are growing, but they're very few, and their main occupation now at this time, especially during wartime, is to go after corrupt military officials as well as corrupt politicians. So I'm extremely happy to see that something is being done about it. But it's not going to be as easy as kicking Russia out. This will be a 20-year war with corruption here, same as it was in Romania. I had the opportunity to go to Romania with my first European country 10 years ago, and that was all you could hear was corruption, corruption, corruption. Don't even bother starting a business, give up, leave the country. And I feel like we're at that point here in Ukraine, and when this war is over, after the Ukrainians have shed their blood to kick Russia out, I truly hope that they're ready to shed sweat to throw these corrupt politicians out, these corrupt military officials, corrupt police officials, and as well as multi-millionaires and billionaires that have made their livelihood on, you know, the blood and sweat of the Ukrainian people. And that is something that every country has to go through if it actually wants to be a free country. And I would say US history has that history, and it's something that we're dealing with again now at this time in history. So like always, you know, put your pants on, tie your boots up, let's get to it. I'll be back, I'll be there to help. There's just a little bit more for me to do right here, right now, and I will continue, but it'll be done, and I will be back. God bless.